Hello everyone. Today I'm going to present before you an important topic of educational psychology, that is learning. Learning, its concept, nature and factors influencing learning. As we all know, most of the behaviors that we manifest are a result of learning. Learning begins at infancy and continues throughout life. A newborn who first cries when uncomfortable learns that crying would soon be followed by his mother's care and attention. The child learns from his family, neighborhood, teachers, peers, etc. In this way, his learning continues under formal as well as under informal conditions. Now, before moving on, let us see what exactly learning is. What does it mean? Definition of learning. Skinner defines learning as progressive behavior adoption. Crow and Crow define learning as acquisition of habits, knowledge, and attitude. R.S. Woodworth state doing something new provided the new activity is reinforced and can reappear in later activities. Hilgard and Atkinson say that relatively permanent change in behavior that occurs as a result of practice is learning. S.S. Mathur, process of acquiring the appropriate responses. Analyzing these definitions of learning, it can be said that most of the educators and psychologists agree that learning is a process by which behavior is either modified or changed through experience and training. Learning is thus a relatively learning is thus a relatively permanent change in response potentiality which occurs as a function of reinforced practice. But can all changes in behavior be attributed to learning? Here are some very closely related concepts to learning. Let us differentiate among them. Learning and reflex action. Accidentally stepping on a sharp object leads to a quick withdrawal of the foot. Is this quick withdrawal of the foot a learned behavior? No, this behavior is spontaneous, automatic. It is reflexive and not a behavioral change due to learning, but an instinctive reaction. Closing of eyes when out in sharp sunlight occurs just because of this instinctive reaction. These are examples of reflex action. Learning and imprinting. Living beings inherit a few fixed pattern of responses. For example, soon after birth, the duckling follows its mother, a process called imprinting. This is not a learnt behavior, since duckling don't have any such prior experience. This behavior is encoded in their genetic material and they have a natural instinct to perform this behavior. Learning and maturation. Maturation is a process of growth and development which takes place regularly in an individual without special condition of stimulation such as training and practice. Whereas learning, in contrast, is change of behavior which is brought about by the stimulation present in the environment outside the individual and involves training and practice. Learning and performance. Performance differentiated from learning. Performance refers to what an organism actually does. Thus, that is, its behavior which can always be observed and even measured. Learning, however, is not similar to performance since it specifies what the organism is capable of doing, while performance specifies what an organism actually does. Learning can never be studied directly. It is a construct, that is, it is manifested in individuals' behavior. Now we come to general characteristics of learning. On the basis of various definitions we discussed earlier, these characteristics of learning has been derived. It is an enduring change in behavior, a continuous change in behavior. It is a lifelong process. It involves cumulative experience. Child's initial learning is of primitive type and is related with exploration of the environment. Gradually, he learns to eliminate his shortcomings and changes his behavior through adaptation and assimilation. Then, learning is dynamic. The organism responds in many ways to solve the problem. On the basis of trial and error, the child reflects changes in his behavior. It influences all aspects of human development: social, emotional, and cognitive. It is based on incentives. Both punishment and reward play a vital role in learning. It is target oriented. Learning is completed through a definite process. It has a purpose. Purpose and motive channelize human behavior in a definite direction, which is helpful in attaining a desired goal. Then, learning is a byproduct of maturation and experience. It depends on maturation and the mental readiness of the child. Then we come to types of learning. We learn a wide variety of skills, attitudes, and competencies which gradually enhance efficiency and effectiveness in an environment. Some of these are learned directly, some indirectly, some through experience, some through conscious effort, others through feelings. Let us take a look at some of the different types of learning which we engage in. These different types of learning have been listed here. Cognitive learning. Cognitive learning refers to gaining of information, memorization, ability to perceive relationship between different ideas, explaining phenomena in different ways, etc. Cognitive learning enables us to function at high levels of complexity and efficiency. Next is psychomotor learning. Psychomotor learning examples are riding a bicycle, stitching, playing badminton, etc., which involves muscular coordination and physical skills. Learning of skills that have large physical or motor components are referred as psychomotor learning. Affective learning. Affective learning is largely an outcome of socio-cultural and emotional atmosphere surrounding us. Fear, love, passion, and dislike illustrate learning involving emotions and feelings. Concomitant learning. Learning unconsciously from environment, certain attitudes, values, likes, dislikes for some people or things. Behavior related to moral values, nationalism, truthfulness, etc. are largely the outcome of collateral or concomitant learning. Concomitant learning plays a vital role in personality development. Discrimination learning. In the learning of concept, the focus is on one new concept at a time, while in the learning of discrimination, the focus is on one or more similar or related concepts to finally outline their differences. Generalization of concepts is attained through attribute analysis, selection, and comparison. Discrimination is attained through comparison of such sets of different, similar, and related concepts. Principal learning. Common features are identified and generalized in discrimination learning. Common relationships are noted and generalized in principal learning. Principles have applicability and are also used in problem solving and have scope for transfer of parallel situation. Once a principle or rules are adequately understood, it should be possible to derive the implications and applications and use them deductively in solving problems. Next we come to factors affecting learning. There are numerous factors affecting learning. These can be subcategorized under three headings: learner related factors, teacher related factors, and environment related factors. Moving on to the first one, learner related factors. Here is the list of all those factors which are related to the learner. First is maturation. Learning very much depends on maturation. Unless the learner has matured optimally, he cannot learn. A 1-year-old child cannot be made to write. A 2 months old child cannot be made to walk. In order for learning to take place, physical, intellectual, social, and emotional maturation is most essential. Next factor is motivation. Motivation. Learning is most effective when there is intrinsic motivation, a desire to learn from within, which finds satisfaction in the achievement itself and does not bother about other factors. At times, students are motivated by combination of both intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. For example, studying hard for the joy it gives and also to attain the meritorious position and recognition attached to it. Next is self-concept of a child. Self-concept plays a vital role in affecting learning. An individual's belief about himself always color his action. A student who likes a subject feels confident about it and will learn faster and seek opportunities for doing it and tries to excel in it. Goals goals can be, whether they are short-term goal or long-term goal, determine what we learn and how we learn it. For example, to pass a test in education, one may rote memorize the facts, but to pursue education as an academician, one may need to carefully study the facts and analyze them. So, goal affect learning. Levels of aspiration. Levels of aspiration reflects to the extent to which an individual wishes to strive to achieve. If we set a level of aspiration fairly high, then correspondingly the degree of effort we put in is also high. Interest of the child, interest of the learner, interest are major factors in guiding learning. The more interested one is in a particular area, the more he is motivated to learn. Study habits. Study habits of the learner very much determine to a very large extent how effective learning would be. Proper organization of the material to be learnt, judiciously timing the things, planning of the content to be learnt, appropriate learning strategies greatly affect learning. So these are the learner related factors which affect learning. Next we come to Teacher related factors. These are the factors which affect learning very much. Teacher's personality, her communication style, interpersonal relationship with the students, interpersonal relationship between the teacher and the student, and the teaching style, the method, the technique which she adopts. Next is environment related factors. Environment related factors are categorized under two heads. These are physical environment and socio-emotional environment. Physical environment is the comfortable climate of the class, comfortable seating arrangement of the class, and socio-emotional environment refers to the psychological conditions, influences of psychological conditions, interpersonal relationship, interpersonal feelings existing within the class. With this, we come to the end of the video, and in next video, we will discuss about the theories of learning. Thank you.